Thank you so much for hosting this year and Kabbalah Café on Friday morning, 9:30. Shalom, shalom, everyone in Rechavia and Yerushalayim, and everyone around. I'm here in Elad. I'm here in Elad in central Israel to visit Mendel, and so of course 9:30 is 9:30. So we're great. It's great to be able to learn together the special parsha of Vayetze. You can see the sun shining bright. I'm not sure how it is all the way down in Yerushalayim, kidding around, but hopefully everything is great, and we look forward to seeing everyone also at the end on Shabbos. At the end of this class, we're going to make a special announcement regarding Tuesday and next Motzei Shabbat. And so the story is told about the holy Reb, the Maggid of Mezrich. The Maggid of Mezrich, Rabbi Goldberg. I just have my my mask over here because I'm outside to be extra careful. And so Rabbi Goldberg, he had the holy students of the, and the Alter Rebbe was one of the students. In fact, next Shabbos, Yutet Kislev, is going to be the 19th of Kislev, the famous day of the day that the Alter Rebbe was released from jail after being falsely accused of going against the Tsarist regime. And it's the same day as his Rebbe's yahrzeit, the Maggid of Mezrich. The Maggid of Mezrich passed away on Yutet Kislev, and I believe it was within the year before the Maggid passed away. The Alter Rebbe had a few daughters, and the Maggid told the Alter Rebbe, "You are going to have a son, and you need to call your son on my name, Dovber." That's exactly what he did. The first son was named Dovber after the Alter Rebbe's teacher, the Holy Maggid of Mezrich. So one time, the students of the Maggid were sitting together, and everyone was giving a bracha to the other one. And the Alter Rebbe said, "May you have a bracha begashmiyut uberuchniut. May you have blessing, materially speaking and spiritually speaking." So right away, his friends, the holy students of the Maggid, they lifted their eyebrows and they said, "What do you mean? First, you should be giving us a blessing for the ruchniut, for the spirituality, and only then should we talk about the gashmiut, the physical, the material realm of the world." And the Alter Rebbe smiled and said, "Well, look what it says in the Torah. In fact, in our parsha this week, Parshat Vayetze, Yaakov Avinu is running away from Esav. Esav wants to kill him for stealing the blessings in last week's parsha. And on the way, he stays over in the yeshiva of Shem and Aver. He learns a lot of Torah. And he basically declares that he has pretty much nothing. And he needs Hashem to protect him. And he says to Hashem, V'natan li lechem lechol ubeged l'bosh. May Hashem give me a cloth to wear, food to wear, and food to eat and a cloth to wear. And only in the next pasuk it says, "V'shavti v'shalom el beit avi, v'haya Hashem li lelokim." May Hashem help that I should return safe and peacefully to my father's home, and then Hashem will be for me as a God. In other words, I'll be able to be more dedicated in spirituality to Hashem once I come home. What do we see here? Yaakov Avinu teaches us how we're supposed to ask. What's supposed to be most important? First, he asks about the food to eat and the clothes to wear for his material matters. And only then does he say, "V'shavti b'shalom el beit avi." May Hashem return me peacefully to my father's home. I should be able to daven and to learn spiritually, and I should be able to have all the brachas also on the spiritual level. So perhaps this needs a little bit of an explanation. It's a nice story, and we know now that it's more important to wish someone, and I take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you and myself and all of us, that we should have an abundance of material wealth, and we should have health, literal health. We should be healthy for many, many happy years. And we should have everything that we need. And also, we should be successful in our spiritual avodat Hashem, in our service of Hashem. But it doesn't seem to make much sense. shouldn't we first be concerned about our spiritual matters, and only then, if anything, to be concerned with our material matters? Seemingly, the material matters are just on the side, nothing to write home about. But really, in fact, the way Hasidus looks at the world with the eye lens, the lenses that we are taught by the Baal Shem Tov and the Magid and all of the Chabad Rebbes and the other Rebbes, is that really the material world is not supposed to be the opposite of spirituality. There are some that view the world like that view spirituality like this. That really it's, and obviously there's something very special about that. That the spirituality is number one. It's the most important thing. But at the same time, if we look much deeper, then we can see that there's something very, very special about the materialistic world. In fact, this week Tovia sent me a great picture of the word bad, and if you look at it really well, you can see good. If you want it, just send me a message and I'll be happy to send it to you. And thank you, Tovia. I believe it was Tovia that sent it to me. And even if not, it's also thank you for all the great things that you do and everyone else listening in over here. And so it's all about how our perspective is, how you look at things. We can choose to look at things with a positive eye, or God forbid, with a negative eye. So we talk about the physical, materialistic world that Hashem created. What a beautiful world. A person can say, you know what? Wow, perhaps Hashem created the world that we should be able to build an edifice, a home, a dwelling place for Hashem. And if Hashem wanted to build us only a spiritual world, then He would have sufficed with the higher realms of Atzilut and the different worlds of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, Keter, the crown, and all the great angels, you name it. But for some reason, I was going to say for some odd reason, but we're going to see that it's not necessarily odd. But for some reason, Hashem created this world, which seems to be rather distant from all of the great spiritual realms. And the Medrash tells us that the whole purpose of creation was, believe it or not, mark my words, la'asot lo yitbarach dira b'tachtonim, to make a dwelling place for Hashem, where not be'elyonim, not in the higher worlds. That's for sure a great place for Hashem. Hashem for sure feels at home over there. But over here in this materialistic world, this is where Hashem wants to have a dwelling place and an abode, right here in this world, in the Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. Why is that? That is simply because Hashem has a desire. And this desire is that in the seemingly lowest places, this is where the greatest treasures are hidden. And therefore, when we look around the world, we should never underestimate what we see in the world. We should be able to see how the cars are here in order to take a person to daven and to have a shir. And why do we have technology to be able to make videos before Shabbos and to send people around an inspiration? And that we can all send them around with social media. That's why Hashem created this world. That's why Hashem created the materialism and even the coarseness, which is even so low. Not for the garbage that's spread in it. Rather for the kedusha. Can you imagine if you have two scenarios? One scenario is a person sitting in a yeshiva or in the kollel all day, which is amazing, and teaches his few students. It's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But can you imagine when someone has the ability to be able to utilize technology, to be able to have hundreds of people a day listening to shiurim? That's exactly why Hashem created the technology. And that's why the materialistic world is here, in order that we should use it. It should be I think the word is a catalyst, a medium, to be able to spread Hashem's knowledge in the world. And when we do that, we are preparing the world for the coming of Mashiach. The truth is that every single thing that we do makes every materialistic object more holy. But we're human beings. What can I tell you? We're human beings. And we can't necessarily tell how every mitzvah that we do and how we're actually making a difference. But who cares if we can't tell it? Does that change the fact? Not at all. Hashem has in his master plan that we, yes, you and I, should create from this world an edifice, a home for Hashem. And every time we do a mitzvah, every time we listen to a Torah class, every time we help an old lady cross the street, we are doing a mitzvah and we are bringing Hashem into the world. When Mashiach comes, then we're going to see the benefit of what we've done. But let's keep on doing the great work that we're doing up until now on a much greater level. And this is why Yaakov Avinu, first he asked for materialistic blessings. And only then did he ask for spiritual blessings. Because the most important part is that Hashem should, that we should create a home for Hashem. That's number one. That's what Hashem wants. Once that's in place, then we can start worrying about our spiritual needs. May I return peacefully home to my parents' home. And Hashem should be for me as a God. And then it says, and this stone, this rock that I've placed here as a monument, it should be a home for Hashem. Like we just said about the Beit HaMikdash. The Beit HaMikdash is a place where it is going to be a home for Hashem. And everything that you give me, I'm going to give a tithe, a tenth, to tzedakah, to Hashem. And so showing our appreciation to Hashem, that He gives us such an amazing life and such an amazing atmosphere, especially here in Eretz Yisrael. And of course in Yerushalayim, this is a great way for us to be able to say thank you to Hashem. And that's why, right in the middle of these verses, even before Sheni, right in the first part of this parsha, has one of my best songs. Ufaratzta, 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 yama vakedma, tzafona vanegba. That's right. That's perhaps the slogan of Chabad. You should break through Ufaratzta. You should break through Yama Vakedma to the west and to the east. V'tzafona v'negba to the north and to the south. That's the bracha of Ufaratzta. We should break through all barriers. When we have our own agenda, then we have barriers. We convince ourselves. It's almost as if we create for ourselves our own barriers. But the moment that we connect to Yaakov Avinu and we connect to his train of thought, his way of life, that we have to make the world into a home for Hashem. And of course, we should bring spirituality into the world. Then we have the ability to break through all directions. There are no limitations anymore. Ufaratzta. And that's why we're going to read in a couple of weeks the twins that were born to Yehuda and Tamar. The oldest one was Peretz, and the other one was Zarach. Peretz, in the lineage of King David, he is the great-great-grandfather of King David, and Mashiach comes from David HaMelech. So when you have kingship, the phrase goes, Melech poretz geder. A king breaks through the fence. In other words, if the king has to go from point A to point B, and there happens to be a home in the middle of the way or a field in the middle of the way, so most normal people would go around. But the king, he doesn't need to ask for permission. The king just goes straight through. He has the direction and he goes right through. He poretz. He breaks through. Obviously, we have to do it with respect. But in feeling, in our approach to the world, it has to be that we're doing the right thing and not to allow any disturbances or roadblocks to God forbid to hold us back, because we know that if we're doing Hashem's will, then we can do the ufaratzta. Ufaratzta means not to keep the wonderful things that we have for ourselves, but to break through the limitations, to share them with our family, to share them with our friends, to share them with our neighbors. And today we can share them around the world in the matter of a few seconds. And therefore, the bracha that I give you and to myself and to everyone listening to this class, and hopefully to all of Am Yisrael, that we should be successful in our mission of Ufaratzta, of breaking through all limitations. Because yes, right here is the place where Mashiach is going to come very soon. I hope this moment. And this is the place that we are preparing now. We're doing our best to be able to prepare this. There should be a proper place for Mashiach's coming. And we should be successful in Ufaratzta, Yama Vakedma Vatzafona Vanegba. And may Hashem bless you and I and everyone with the great brachas of all the materialistic blessings. Yes, you heard correctly. There's nothing wrong with materialistic blessings. The Rebbe said in 1992, in the winter, he said that every Jew needs to be rich in the most literal sense, in the most materialistic sense of the word. And it's not a bad thing. To be rich, to be wealthy, simply in the materialistic terms, is a great blessing. You can do so much bracha, so much blessing to the world, to your surroundings, to your local Beit Chabad, to your local shul, to your local yeshiva. And when you do so, accomplishing the purpose of why Hashem in a maximum level, in the greatest level. And of course, Hashem should success in siyata d'shmaya, in the help from Hashem, and guidance from Hashem, to being able to learn properly, to open up our hearts, to open up our minds, to be